Hello everybody and welcome to the TARDIS Zone's review of Kerblam. Before I start the video, I would like to thank everybody for the support over the last couple of weeks with my videos. Again, if you like the video, give it a like. Subscribe to me if you haven't. I'm also on Twitter, YouTube and Facebook on the TARDIS Zone. Check it out. So, how do I start this off? Well, the episode featured some okay, let's break this down. So basically what happens is a package lands on the TARDIS. And inside this package is a fez. Jodie puts the fez on and says a stupid line. Is it still something about is it still me or something like that? Little throwback again as usual. Chris Chibnall trying to convince us that she's the Doctor, but we all know she's not the Doctor. Doesn't matter how many times you do little throwbacks, Chibnall, stop it now. She's not the Doctor. Again, Jodie was preachy in this episode. But basically what happens is, anyway, there's a package, the Fez, as I said. Yaz looks at the card that says, help me. They go to Kerblam, which happens to be a big planet that looks a big version of Amazon, but planet-wide, 10% of the workforce are organics, and then shit starts going down. Lee Mack is in the episode. Yeah. Can't really say much about him because he had something like 4 or 5 lines and then he disappears. We had a guy called Charlie. Charlie was a bit of a sick puppy. Yeah, most of the workforce, well, the 2 people that we've seen in the workforce, yeah, they basically hated themselves. They didn't think they were worthy. All this thing, oh, I never received a present and all this. I like the time you know, all this emotional blackmail bullshit. So basically, yeah, see, I nearly lost my train of thought. So basically, what happens is the Doctor and Scooby-Doo gang go undercover, and basically, well, there's a lot of politics in this episode again. Jodie Whittaker being lecturing another white male as usual. He turned out to be a bit of an asshole at first and then came across as quite weak. Graham originally was supposed to be on packing duty, doing the packing of the packages, but then they were wearing all these work bracelets that they got, a bit like as if you have an ASBO. Anybody that knows in England, if you have an ASBO, normally they give you this bracelet that has a electronic tag on it so they can track it. So that's what that was. But then Jodie messes with Graham's one, and then he becomes a maintenance man. I have to say, yeah, Chibnall has some daddy issues. Seriously, Chibnall, if you need anybody to talk to, give me a ring, and I'll help you out with your daddy issues. Yeah, because you seem to have a lot of daddy issues, or you definitely have something against white males for some weird reason. You're white yourself. You know what I mean? I just don't get it. I didn't like Jodie in this episode. Surprise, surprise. When she wasn't featured in a scene, it was actually quite okay. I see people saying you know, that this went back to what Doctor Who should be. I disagree with that. It certainly was an improvement of what we got in this series, but if you compare this episode that we had, Kerblam, to The Girl in the Fireplace or Beast Below, it's an average episode, and they're stellar compared to that episode. So we're all led to believe that, you know, that the robots, or the Kerblam robots, are, you know, the sinister, because the robots are walking around, they're looking sinister, and they're telling the workforce, you know, don't be talking, do your job. And, you know, they make you believe, because Chris Chibnall or whoever wrote the episode, I know it wasn't written by him, but I tell you, if they think this is clever, and they think Charlie then being the villain was some sort of amazing plot twist, or the fact that we had exploding bubble wrap, which I can't help actually. Yeah, this is actually more interesting than the episode, to be quite honest. This bubble wrap thing. So basically what happens is, anyway, right, Charlie's in love with some girl, blah blah blah. She has issues. Basically, she doesn't believe in herself, just like the first guy in the very first episode of the woman who fell to earth, the crane driver. Do you notice something that though they always seem to like hate themselves, and this seems to be a running theme as well. That they don't like themselves or they're angry about something. So your guy's motivation is basically Charlie. He was pissed off with people because they treated him like shit all his life, and he basically wanted to wipe out everybody like a genocide. Kind of a weak, motivation, but that's what we've gotten all this series is weak plot, weak motivation, and weak villains. And he turned out to be a weak villain because he was defeated. He got blown up by exploding bubble wrap. I don't know. There's nothing. I mean, Lee Mack, as I said, was in it, but I don't even know why he was in it. I don't get the point of Yaz. I mean, that's all she really done in that episode, and she did a bit of running around. Oh, she went down the slidey thing, didn't she, and stuff. Or did she go down? See, I don't even remember because she's so an unforgettable character. The Bright Sparks, obviously, again, Bradley and Tolson, they haven't put a foot wrong since they've been in the show. Jodie again has this habit of I have my screwdriver here. She has a habit of it's like real robotic. She just has to do. Oh, look at me! Oh, I have to extend my arm when I use my screwdriver. And then she has this thing where she keeps looking at it, and it's like, oh, there's something wrong with my screwdriver. There seems to be something wrong with the screwdriver every week as well, by the way. And she seems to rely heavily on the screwdriver as well. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. It's probably the highest marks I think I've given an episode, because it was better than what we've gotten within the season. But if you compare it to what we've gotten in the past with the 2 episodes that I mentioned, like Beast Below or The Girl in the Fireplace, well then compared to those 2 episodes, it was pretty average. Yeah. So yeah. So basically exploding bubble wrap and a kid that hated the world because people hated him. Well done. That's fantastic writing. I mean, that's mind blowing. This is what's wrong with this season. They think what they're writing is actually smart and mind blowing, but it's actually boring and mundane. And I can never get myself up for a Doctor Who episode anymore. I mean, I was watching David Tennant again today, and the smile on my face every time I watch. I mean. And even then, even though I've seen these episodes over and over and over, I still get emotional at the parts you're supposed to be emotional, or still react at the parts that I reacted at before. I still feel the same way. I mean, I tried to watch The Woman Who Fell to Earth again, and I literally got 10 minutes in, and I was like, nope, I'm bored. I just can't do that. I mean, these reviews are getting shorter because I just don't know what to say. I mean, everybody knows what happened in the episode if you've seen it. So people who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. Pro Jodie fans are talking about a totally different thing altogether. Do I think this will halt the slide? Quite possibly could for a week. But then we've got next week's episode. Or look at me, I'm a witch. Or feel sorry for me. We're going to kill women. And I guarantee you the Doctor is going to preach some white male. And more than likely he's going to be a prick. Actually, he will be a prick because it's the witch trials, isn't it? And it was men that kind of condemned all the women, wasn't it? So, yeah. So it's going to be another, look, we hate men. Do you know what? I mean, maybe we are bastards, because the way it's being written, we seem to be the worst fucking gender in the world. Like, us men, we're really bad. We get it. Oh, wow, we get it. Okay, not all men are great. But every single fucking week, Chibs, can you not do something different? Well, look, I'm not going to talk about this stupid episode anymore. I'd like to talk about the rumour that's gone around that he might be leaving after 2 years because himself and he's not happy with the fact that he wants to do a series every 18 to 2 months, or 18 to 2 years. whereas BBC want to do a show every 1 year. But apparently that doesn't suit Jodie Whittaker, and it doesn't suit him because Jodie wants to spend time with her kids. Also, he wants to spend time doing whatever he wants to do. Again, they're trying to adapt the schedule around them, like they adapted the role around Jodie instead of Jodie adapting to the role. Seems to be, a theme here. We don't have a Christmas special, we have a New Year's special because obviously she won't be up against competition. It's the same why she's not on a Saturday night, because she doesn't have competition on a Sunday night. She's sandwiched between everything has been done to help this series, and it's still losing ratings. And pro Jodie fans think this is a success. Well, as I said, if this is such a success and you are so positive and so convinced that this show is so good, well then do us a favour, right? Prove us all wrong. Demand, you are the fans that they seem to be listening to at the moment, because they're not listening to me. So why don't you demand, prove us all wrong. Tell them to put our second series on a Saturday night and find a time slot on a Saturday night that will suit, to give her the fair chance, and then see how our numbers do. I can guarantee it will slide away. Because it's not good. The writing's not good, it's boring, it's bland. Yes, this episode was better than what we've gotten before. I actually do think that this was the more better episodes. But as I said, I watched far superior episodes on Tennant's era just recently. So, I mean, there's nothing to be ranting and raving about. Do you know what I mean? It's not the success that you all think it is. So yeah, so if the rumour is true and they are leaving, then I say good riddance, and I'll be happy, and I know there'll be a lot of other Whovians happy. But just to say to pro Jodie fans, you keep telling us, if you don't like Doctor Who, well then leave. You were never a true fan. Well, see, there's a big difference. We love Doctor Who, but we don't love this series, right? Not every Doctor Who fan has liked every single series. They've always had a series that they don't like. Does that make them not a Doctor Who fan? See, you use these taglines, you go and call us sexist, and you call us other horrible things, because you can't come back with us with facts. We do. We show you that the ratings are sliding. We show you TV reporters or TV newspapers that aren't afraid to speak out and say what this show is, because they're not the people that you listen to, the biased press that BBC have in their pockets. The likes of Radio Times, which is the biggest propaganda machine for Doctor Who when it comes to reviewing this. And a couple of yous also that are on Twitter that also review the episodes. You do the fandom no favour when you give a sugar-coated version of what happened. This series has been bland. It's been boring, weak plots, weak motivation, and weak villains. If this is the future of Doctor Who, this version of Doctor Who, well then I'm sadly to say that it's not going to last long. That's why I hope those two take a hike sooner rather than later. But seeing the way the guy writes, I wouldn't be surprised if he does something in the second series to piss us all off, especially fans like me who have given himself and Miss Whittaker a stick, because we could see what was coming a mile away. I mean, she didn't even get an audience reveal. See, you've got to go back to the start, guys. She didn't get an audience reveal. We got a teaser. Okay? Because they didn't want to take the risk of a live studio audience. Because if I had been in the audience watching the reveal, I would have said something. And there would have been a Doctor Who fan like me that would have said something. That's why we got that. They've been protecting her from day one. That's why she got the Sunday slot. That's why she's getting the New Year slot. They don't have faith in this show. Apparently someone, now again, this is all rumour, but there's little things leaking out that apparently they're not happy with the show. They're not happy with the direction of the show, and I hope that is true by the BBC. But I just wish someone in the BBC has the balls to actually say to Chibnall, look, you're done. We're getting someone else in. You've got one more series. Do your series. You're done. we'll get someone in that understands, and hopefully that person that comes in then understands where we're coming from and doesn't make the same mistakes. And of course, go back to what the role should be, which is a male role. And if some of you pro Jodie fans have a problem with that, I honestly don't give a flying crap anymore, because at the end of the day, you do not understand Doctor Who if you think that this is what Doctor Who should be. And with that, I'm going to say good night. But tomorrow I get married, so I'm looking forward to that myself. I will see you all on Sunday for the next one. I don't even know what the next episode is called. I don't really give a crap, but I do know, sitting there as a man, I'm going to be hating myself, because like that's what I'm supposed to do now. Like, all men are bastards. We get a Chibnall, you have daddy issues. As I said, if you want someone to talk to, come and talk to me, and I'll help you out, buddy. Because you know this shit that you're giving us, man. I'd like to see a happy Chibnall that doesn't have anything against your men or your daddy. And if your daddy did hurt you as a kid, get over it. You're a grown man now. You know what I mean? Start writing a proper sci-fi show. Or if you're incapable of writing a sci-fi show, just do the honourable thing now and leave. And while you're at it, take Jodie Whittaker with you. Because, yeah, I never thought anybody could be as bad as Moffat. I really didn't. He did a lot of things that pissed me off, Moffat. And he did a lot of good things as well, I have to say. But he did a lot more bad as far as I was concerned. But this guy, Chibnall, has just blown him out of the water. I hate the guy. So yeah, I'm gone. So yeah, enjoy the explosive bubble wrap, folks. As I said, you could watch me for about 10 minutes and this will be more fun than what we actually watched last night. And I have a little surprise for Pro Jodie fans. In a couple of weeks I'm working on a video for you all. Some of you have been kind to comment some horrible things on social media. Great best thing about that nowadays is there's a thing called screenshot. So yeah. So keep with those hateful comments, because you are helping me create my next video, which it won't be my next video, but it'll be a video that I have in the pipeline. Yeah, you've been attacking us, so it's about time that someone said something, and I'm going to be that person, because I'm sick of attacking people that have a different opinion.